Welcome to today's PAWSCAST.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Amanda Vandeveer and I work as the Field Director for Social Work here at Frostburg State University. And I'm here with Dr. Katie Weir, Associate Director for Residential Education here at Frostburg State, to talk about transitioning into FSU. So I remember when I was a new student, oh my gosh, and that was last semester, y'all. So it was really overwhelming for me though. So much good stuff going on, so much new stuff that I was being exposed to, and I didn't know where to start or what to do really. I was just overwhelmed. Yeah. So as an alum yourself, what was the hardest part of adjusting to college for you?
Yeah, when I came to FSU, I lived at home my first semester, so my transition to living independently came a little bit later. Yeah. But that first semester, it was really the academic transition, and so I remember coming in syllabus week and getting the syllabuses and reading all the assignments I would have to do and the papers I would have to write and having 6 classes. That was really overwhelming. And then I also learned the lesson pretty early on that college is different than high school, so I had like a 4.0 GPA in high school. I came in like, this is going to be easy, I've got this. And I took Math 104, the only math class I took at FSU, and I failed the first exam. And I realized quickly, like, oh, I can't just not go to study hours or not go to office hours. I have to actually put a little bit more work in because college is different. And so I was able to do well in the class because I got to know the professor and asked for help. But that was a really big lesson early on, is it is different and you need help. So just figuring out college coursework was a real transition my first semester.
Yeah. I didn't even know what a syllabus was.
Right.
Like, what is it? Why does he keep handing me stuff? Like, what are these papers?
Yeah. It's a little overwhelming at first, and then you learn just go to the calendar and it's going to be okay.
And just so you know, keep them for the rest of your life. Like, I'm not joking. So, yeah, but it was a really hard part with the And then college loan refund day would come. And that was always the best day because you got money. And I knew a lot of people that lived pretty large the first couple weeks afterwards, and then they were living off of ramen come November. So do you have any financial advice as to how to budget and prepare for a whole semester of expenses?
Yeah, so budgeting is really key. I was certainly one of those people my first semester who got the refund check and just had fun. Right, you're like, I have all this money now, which you don't typically have a lot in high school. So you go out to dinner and you do the fun things. But I remember the last day of like my first year of college, I overdrew my bank account getting an ice cream cake for something, which I should not have bought because I was broke. So I didn't manage that well the first year. So budgets are so important. So yes, like have fun, treat yourself, but you're going to have expenses pop up later. Maybe it's a winter class tuition fee or your car breaks down or whatever. So having a budget, knowing how much money you have and the bills that you have and managing that's really important. And in ORI classes for first year students, we cover that. So if you don't have that knowledge coming in, that's okay. This is your chance to learn. So I think
that's great.
Learning about budgets and also credit cards, because that's now a world that's open to all of you as adults, and that can also be very tricky if you're not thoughtful about that. So take advantage of those resources, but don't just be thoughtful of your money. Don't just spend it willy-nilly because that will catch up.
Yeah, and credit cards are a big issue. I remember back in the day, last semester, that they would have credit card people on campus like offering free stuff to sign up for a credit card, and people didn't understand the credit card rates. I had someone who went out and a friend of mine furnished his whole dorm room with like a new TV, a little sofa, like spent a lot of money. And then about a month later, he came to me and was like, did you know you have to pay on that every month? And I'm like, yeah, you didn't?
Yeah. Oh. it gets real tricky real fast with credit cards.
Yes.
They can be great. Just pay that off every month, though.
Yes. You have to be prepared for that.
Yes.
And I know coming to school here, many people may only have 1 or 2 friends. Yeah. Or they may just be coming here with absolutely no one that they know. So there's a lot of opportunity to get to know new people and go find a new friend group and find dating relationships and stuff like that. What are the biggest struggles that you see with relationships on campus?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think by and large it's really exciting with these relationships. Not often in your life post-college will you be surrounded by people your same age and with some commonalities off the bat. So like take advantage, go make new friends. In my world, I work in residence life, and so when I think of relationships, it's often roommate relationships or neighbor relationships, because that's also a new piece that I know we'll talk about as you're now living in community with others.
Yeah.
And so I think having conversations early on with your roommate, your neighbors, even your friends about your needs and expectations, but also having conversations where you want to understand their needs and expectations with the desire to find that compromise.
Yeah.
And so I tell roommates, we're going to do roommate agreements early on in the semester, but your needs are going to change. There is a honeymoon period with roommates for sure the first few weeks, but once you hit November and you're stressed and you're tired, the little habits that didn't bother you in September may start to bother you. So it's just important to have regular conversations with the people that you live with and adjust those expectations so everybody feels happy and safe in the space they're living in.
Yeah. And I think it's super important to learn boundary setting too.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't like that. Can we do this some way different? Can we handle this in a different way?
Yeah.
Or this doesn't work for me. Like, being able to express yourself, because I wasn't able to do that so much because I was a people pleaser. I might still have that issue a little bit.
We're together on that.
Yeah. So, like, when I would express a boundary, it was very uncomfortable for me to do.
Yeah. I think that's a really important skill that I work with students in my office with now, because like you, that was uncomfortable for me, but you have to be okay being uncomfortable in those situations and having difficult situations. And we can help students and coach them through that. And the Student Counseling Center is a great resource too. But if you want to have genuine, healthy relationships, you have to be able to set boundaries and speak up. And that's not fun sometimes. But I think college is a great space to learn those skills because there's so many of us who can help you develop that.
Yeah, and this is a great place to learn it.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to put it into practice when you get out into the workforce.
Yeah.
Because there are jobs out there that will ask you to work 20 hours a day and pay you $10 for the whole day.
Yeah.
They would be happy to do that. So we have to be able to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And, get into healthy relationships if we want partnerships in the future, if we want to go that direction. So, like, there's all sorts of reasons why now's a good time.
Absolutely. Do it while you're here. We can help you. It's going to benefit you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you have so much support here for that. So, roommates, we were talking about roommates. I was lucky enough to not have one, which actually was probably lucky for the other people that would have been my roommates, because I'm an only child, so I can only see how badly that would have gone. And some people cannot stand their roommate, like you were talking about, and then some people form lifelong relationships with them, and 30 plus years later they're meeting up for girls' weekends or whatever, So what advice do you have about the change in living situations from home life to here?
Yeah, it's a big transition as you learn to live by yourself. And it's exciting. Like, you should be really excited to be living on campus. That's the main reason I moved on campus my second semester, was I was missing out on the fun all my friends were having in their hall. And so it's really positive, but with all of these great transitions come challenges. And so no one is there to make sure you're going to class or you're eating or doing your laundry. Like, the day-to-day management is a whole new responsibility on top of academics. And so I think just having some good routines in place, being aware of that shift, combined with those conversations with roommates and neighbors. I'll also always put the plug that even if you are in a single room, which many of our friends are, you still have neighbors, you're still part of a community. And you're all of us, even those of us not in college anymore, our actions impact others, especially when you're in that small space. What you do will impact the people around you. So it's a great chance to learn to both be independent, and that's important to gain that confidence in yourself, but also to be interdependent on that community around you and be a thoughtful neighbor.
Yeah. I had a roommate one semester who went away for the weekend and left her alarm clock on.
It happens still, Not a way to make
I did not like
area.
her much after that.
Turn that alarm off.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Learning to live in that community, I think that's really important, that we all have rights. And yes, if you have, I'm the person who gets up when the alarm clock goes off, but if you have that person who you're living with that hits the snooze button 15 times, learning how to adapt to that and learning how to come to a compromise in that situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's all about adulting. That's what it is.
It is. Because all your future relationships, partners, friendships, like that all applies as well. So again, a great space to learn how to be a thoughtful neighbor, roommate.
Yeah. And the irony is, my partner is one of those people that hits the snooze button 15 times now.
So now you're...
I'm like, this pillow would fit over your head really nicely. So, my first semester was not academically stellar. I'm going to say that. And I'm going to leave that there. So how does this transition affect our academics, and what suggestions do you have to help in that?
Yeah, it's hard to be a good student if you're not good as a person, and so
Yes.
we've touched on just a few of the transitions, but there's so much that comes with going to college. It's exciting and wonderful, but all big transitions also have hard moments, and so I think first just knowing there's going to be hard days and hard moments, and everybody's in the same boat, feeling homesick, feeling overwhelmed, anxious, whatever, like that's going to be part of it. So being aware of that, I think having some good self-care habits, if you don't have that already, whether that's working out or mediation or therapy or art or whatever that is for you, just being thoughtful about what activities help you feel centered, and then reaching out for help. The reason I came back to Frostburg and I will stay here and love this community is the faculty and staff here really, really care about students.
Yes.
My colleagues love students. And so if you're struggling, talk to somebody. Find a staff member, find your RA, find a faculty member. They will help you find that resource, but you're not alone, and we want to help you be successful, and we know there's going to be bumps along the way. So reach out, and also Student Counseling Center is always a great plug because they are fantastic. And so if you ever feel overwhelmed as you're going through this transition, reach out. They specialize in these sorts of topics. You are not alone, and we're all here to support you as you adjust to adulthood and college life, which is a big task.
It's a big shift.
Yeah.
Yes. So I know I struggled with finding my people on campus, and I often felt alone and disconnected. I always felt like I was in the wrong place. Like when I was home, I should be here. When I was here, I felt like I should be home. And it was just a very big disconnect for me for a long time. It took me a long time to connect in. So how would you recommend new students become part of the campus and dorm community, a residence life community?
Yeah, it's crucial. It's so important. We have great data that shows that being involved helps your well-being and your academic success. So please don't just go to class and then go back to your room, like get involved, but it can be tricky to do. So in your residence halls, your RA is a great first starting point because they're going to put on events. They know what's going on. So just talking to your RA is a great first start. Or the hall programs. We also have hall councils in all of our residence halls. And so that's a governing body for the hall that puts on fun events, but also can buy things for the hall or advocate for changes. So a way to tangibly impact your community, which is exciting. And they're also part of our Residence Hall Association, which is the giant body that governs all of our residence hall students. And so they go to leadership conferences and put on big campus events. And so there's lots of really cool opportunities in residence life. Beyond residence life, student engagement's a great first stop. We have, I think, over 70 student orgs now. So if you have an interest, there's an org for you probably somewhere. They do great campus events. That's a great way just to meet somebody if you go to those. We're in an election season, and so civic engagement, Patrick O'Brien and his team are doing some great activities around civic engagement, so that's a way to get involved around issues you're passionate about. So really read your emails, because every week there's a whole list of events coming out. Join a club, join your hall council, connect with something that is of interest to you, and through that you're going to find your people here.
Yeah, and those are some really good resources on campus. Are there any others that you would like to highlight?
Well, I mentioned the Counseling Center. They're phenomenal as well. Your academic advisors, especially your first semester, the Center for Academic Advice and Retention are lovely, and so you'll have
They're great people.
They're so lovely.
We did not have that back in the day. They're awesome.
I know, they're great. So you have them plus your faculty advisors. So both of those people are going to be there to support you and work with you through that first semester. Reach out to one of those people, and if they're not the right office, they're going to get you connected somewhere.
Yeah, that's great. So is there anything else you would like to add about coming to FSU?
Just get excited. College is such a fun experience. It's unlike any other time in your life that you're going to have. And so, there's going to be challenges. That's true of any phase of life, but you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to make some great memories, and there's a whole support network here. So when you have those tough days, you're not alone. You're going to do just fine. So we're excited to see you here when you get here.
Yes, and it is a great opportunity to learn, to connect, to grow those adulting skills, like all sorts of good stuff.
It's good stuff,
Well, thank you so much, Katie, for coming to talk to us today about coming to Frostburg. And I'm looking forward to slowly but surely meeting all the new incoming people.
Absolutely.
So yay for you all. And I hope you guys have a easy transition and learn something about what we talked about today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being a part of our PAWSCAST. This health and wellness podcast is brought to you by the Prevention Center and Peer Education Network at Frostburg State University. If you would like more information about our programs, visit us in Pullen Hall, room 109, or call us at 687-4761. Or you can always send us an email at safeoffice@frostburg.edu. Remember to watch our other episodes and stay tuned throughout the semester. Thank you!